It's the Off-Grid Prep Family Podcast.
Good evening.
It's the Off-Grid Prep Family Podcast. Today is episode 40. And we're talking about how to feed your family for $200.
We're also going to be talking again about a very surprisingly affordable off-grid power system.
Yeah. Easy. Do it yourself. Simple stuff. Get it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime. Every piece of it.
We went through on Amazon. We picked out the stuff for you. First, we went through Walmart and picked out the stuff for you.
Yeah.
If you are starting to freak out about these
insane inflation
shortages that we keep getting told we're going to see, even the White House is saying there's going to be food shortages like the world has never seen.
They keep burning down warehouses full of food and factories that make food. It's
and telling farmers to not grow food, paying farmers to not grow food.
Do these people not understand?
No.
That the same amount of effort in a positive vein is far more effective than an equal amount of effort in a negative way?
I don't want to be too conspiracy theory, but no, I think...
No, this is like...
I think they know that.
Preschool stuff.
And they're just trying to, decrease the population so that they can all drive Teslas without taking the power grid down.
That's the thing, is I mentioned this to one of the boys the other day. I don't know how we got on the topic, and it was a very brief discussion, but I said... These people, the level of audacity that you think you're the one who can reduce the population. Honestly, it's getting out of control...
Are they volunteering to be the first?
But if the population really is out of control, which is not, there's so much spare land, it's insane. Yeah. If the population really is draining the earth, gotta find a way to take care of it.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
It'll get sorted out.
Just chill.
Yeah.
But they can't chill. These people are crazy.
And they want everyone to drive electric cars. Which, once 20% of the population drives electric cars, the grid can't handle it. Well, the grid can't handle it now, and it's only 1% of the population.
What was that thing we saw today with the thermostats? What were those?
Oh, right. Let's find the article. This was Denver 7 News. Thousands of Xcel customers, which I guess is their power company, in Colorado tried adjusting their thermostats Tuesday, and they learned they had no control over the temperatures in their own homes.
Let me read the little message here. This is a screen grab that somebody sent in. Temperature locked temporarily during energy emergency.
So,
due to a rare energy emergency that may affect the local energy grid, your temperature slider has been changed from 8 p.m. I don't know.
It's hard to read at that point.
We're
really into automation.
Oh,
That's kind of our thing.
I love automating stuff. I hacked into my generator remote and bypassed a awkward shutdown feature just to make things easier.
We're not against automation.
No.
It's how we make a living.
Yeah.
But we are against automation like a blink, a wink, a Nest.
There's a thing called a wink?
Yeah, the thing on your door. There's a wink. There's a link. There's a what's the other one?
You mean the ring?
There's a ring.
Ring, right.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And you're just giving control over your home security your home everything to some random company.
Yeah, we've also been through the startup culture years ago, but all those companies got money because the people listening to them were like, how can I do something evil?
Yes, I can use this.
Evil.
I have thunder rolling in my ears, which means it's time to quickly talk about Major Bomb's ground control. It is a powerful, all-natural, eco-friendly herbicide and insecticide in one.
I was just now out looking at my amazing gravel driveway.
You're weed-free, bug-free.
Bug-free. Shockingly bug-free.
In the middle of a forest. It has safe ingredients combined in a way that eradicates unwanted weeds and scares away insects. It's long-lasting. It's faster and more powerful than glyphosate.
It is.
And you could, if you were inclined, drink it.
You could. It doesn't taste very good, but it's not poison.
You can
but it works.
Get it at our store at offgridprepfamily.com. Click on the store. Go to Major Mom's Ground Control. If you use the coupon code OGPF at checkout, you get $15 off and free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
It is.
So back to the topic, the first topic of the day.
Please, yes, let's do this.
You have heard about the food shortages. You've realized that you do not have nearly as much food in your house as you thought you were going to. Maybe you bought our book, 1 Year of Food, and you looked at what that list of 1 year of food looks like and realized, wow, I have a week's worth of food in my house.
Yeah.
We went to Walmart.com because most of our listeners are American, and just about everybody has Walmart. None of these are sale prices. So these, typically, in my experience, Walmart is just like generally okay prices on everything.
Yeah.
Not door crashers, nothing amazing, but nothing like terrible price.
So the list we've compiled is stuff that's in stock.
They'll ship it to your house, or you do the pickup.
All right, let's do this.
For $200.85. First, you're going to pick up 1 unsulfured molasses. That gives you some little trace minerals, and it helps you turn your white sugar into brown sugar.
So what's the brand names?
Grandma's Original Unsulfured Molasses.
Number 2 is Great Value Pure Granulated Sugar, a 25-pound bag. That is $13.98.
Next, I would grab 2 Great Value Instant Non-Fat Dry Milk. They're $17.72 for the 2. And I would also get 3 of the 3 packs of the Great Value Active Dry Yeast. It was actually cheaper per ounce to get the little packages. Next, baking soda, baking powder. I would get 2 of each of the Great Value brand because they're the cheapest. I would get a gallon of vegetable oil, $8.17. And 5 bags of Great Value all-purpose flour.
And that vegetable oil was the Great Value brand as well.
Yeah, 10-pound bags. And
Great Value whole grain quick rolled oats, $11.94.
that's for 3 of them.
Get 3 of those. Oh, did you say there was 5 of the all-purpose flour?
Yes.
In the 10-pound bag? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Then I would get multivitamins because,
Just because.
we're talking about survival here. 1 for men, 1 for women, 1 for kids. They're less than $5 a pack for the Equate ones.
Yeah.
Don't get the gummies; they don't store well.
Yeah.
Then I would get some pasta, the Great Value brand.
Elbows, Rotini, what's the other one? Penne.
Penne,
They're all $2.76 a bag.
No, they're $2.76 for 3.
Oh, is that what
3
that is?
boxes.
Boy, that's cheap.
Really, really cheap.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna get 9 random.
It's less than $1 a box.
Yeah. And then I got half a dozen Hunt's pasta sauces. For 3 of them, you're going to pay $3.54.
Yep.
I got, 3 of one kind, 3 of another. Half a dozen cans of sliced carrots. That's $3.96 for 6 of them. And then 6 of another kind of veg, 6 of another. So basically, I'm aiming
Canned
for
veggies.
2 dozen Great Value canned veggies. I got beans, peas, corn, and carrots, 6 of each.
You can pick what you like in the store or online.
Yeah. And then I did a little bit of fruit. I got a half a dozen cans of crushed pineapple because they're in their own juice, so that's handy, and you can use it for recipes.
Yep.
6 of them for $7.68.
Yep.
I got...
You're Americans, your groceries are so
Oh my gosh.
so cheap.
You're so smart.
We used to shop in the States. We used to
Yeah.
cross the border when
Every
we lived.
week, yeah.
And it's
I
still
miss it.
so cheap. Like your grocery prices here, these prices recording are half or sometimes
Sometimes a quarter.
for
basics.
of what we pay for the basics here. Like
Yeah.
we don't even go to the grocery store. It's not
Yeah. This is
economically
half
viable.
to a quarter of what it was here pre-pandemic. I don't
That's
even
true.
know what the grocery stores are here.
Yeah. It's bad.
I got a 4-pack of Great Value chunked chicken breast. That's $9.98 for the 4-pack.
Oh.
Really good price.
Wow.
I got 12 cans of the Great Value tuna in water. That's $9.36 for 12 cans. Awesome price. I
And
got
this is a regular price.
these aren't
Yeah.
sales. Half a dozen cans of the Great Value corned beef hash. It's a really big can.
Oh, that is big.
$15.72 for 6. I got 2 of the little 26-ounce things of salt. That's $1.08
Yep.
for 2 of them. And a big 20-pound bag of rice. It was $11.74 for the best deal. Then we're doing beans. 8-pound bag of pinto beans was the best price. It's $5.98. And I got a half a dozen jars of unsweetened applesauce. It's the big, like, 48-ounce jar.
Yeah, you really want the unsweetened because it's plenty sweet.
Yeah, for $18.78.
One of the things of going off grid is you start minimizing.
Yeah.
You never realize just how much.
And if you get the
extra
unsweetened,
sugar,
you can use that as a replacement for oil in a lot of baking.
Yeah, not that sugar's bad. Sugar's essential.
It is, but it's easy to get
sugar,
enough.
Yeah.
And it gives you more options. So the total on that at Walmart.com today, $200.85, including shipping.
That is an $800 Canadian grocery bill.
Easily. And so what I would do, if I was looking in my pantry and wondering how on earth I'm going to feed my family over the coming months, I would just do that over and over again. At least a few times every time I got paid.
Now, I want to add this for our Canadian listeners. It's not all just tragedy and hopelessness. Just don't go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You would be
Find
surprised.
all the alternate
all
sources.
Provinces.
Yeah.
There are people raising chickens and selling them. They're raising goats and they're selling
meat
and
eggs and milk if you don't look sketchy and you ask nice. You never know.
So
there are sources.
Look around. There are sources. You do not have to go to the grocery store. It's just such a corrupt, horrible system.
It is. So that's what I would do if my pantry was looking bare and I was needing to do the basics. Also, I'd be thinking about water, and I would not be paying for it. I would be filling up all old containers. And beyond that, if at all possible, I'd be looking at getting some chickens, as many as you're allowed. Just hens. You don't need a rooster to get eggs.
Nope.
If you're allowed, just get a half a dozen chickens and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And beyond that, get the first 300 things to prep list, which is a free download from our store at offgridprepfamily.com if you go to the printable section.
Well, it's right on our main page.
Yeah.
It's halfway down.
Okay.
Yep. So moving forward, we want to talk again about an off-grid system that is
affordable.
It's affordable and it's high-quality stuff.
Yeah.
I spent years doing off-grid systems, and it drove me crazy when something was expensive, but
and also terrible.
Really not very good.
Yeah.
Like their software didn't work right, or the components were clunky.
We're always okay with paying more for something that's quality.
Yes, absolutely. But the quality, especially in North America, the brand name Solar Gear, I'm going to say Magnum, Outback, Schneider, which is Schneider's a French company, but it's an American brand. There's good stuff, but if you want the really good stuff, you're paying an extra zero, sometimes 2 extra zeros.
Yeah.
The prices of systems I've seen are just insane.
Literally, you could take 10 houses off grid if you did it with off-brand parts.
You could, yeah. Now, the funny thing is off-brand. So I'm going to start talking about the inverter. Okay. So I spent years building systems that covered entire walls, and you'd have the inverter, which just converts DC to AC. Then you have the charge controller, which is a whole other box of magic. Then you'd have usually the inverter would accept a charge from a generator, but sometimes the inverter wouldn't. You'd have to put in a generator charge system thing.
Yeah.
And these components were huge, gigantic. And I learned about in the 2000s. There was this huge solar, like grid tied. So in Canada, when we do grid tied solar, we primarily use sometimes a string inverter, but sometimes you'd use microinverters. None of these are designed even remotely to take you off the grid. Like, they're not even the same.
It's a totally different thing.
But in Australia, there was a gigantic solar boom in the 2000s, and they used what's called a hybrid inverter. And it was actually German design, but it was built in China, and then sold primarily in Australia.
Interesting.
Really weird thing. So the initial design, of course, was 220 volt. They sold some in Germany too, obviously, in Europe. So it was initially 220 volt, 50 hertz.
Right, we couldn't get them.
No.
Yeah.
I started importing a couple of these for experimentation, and what it is it's a small box. It's like a really large hat box. Not even, a shoe box.
Okay.
Like, this is a small thing. It weighs like 10, 12 pounds. I was used to throwing inverters on the wall.
It's like the size of a small TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was used to installing inverters that took 2 guys to hold up on the wall.
Right.
So these things, like, you can get a 5,000 or 3,500 watt inverter now, years after I dabbled in it, they are now producing 120 volt 60 hertz versions of these things.
Right.
Now
So you don't need...
years ago, when I started dabbling in these things, I started because the technology looked really impressive. I bought them directly from China. I had them shipped, air, UPS. It was very expensive. But the inverter itself, at the time, only cost $1,100. I was used to installing $10,000 inverters.
Yeah.
And in addition to charge controllers, like thousands and thousands of dollars, which is still where we talked the other day. We talked about this episode that Prepping 2.0 posted where they had this guy on and said, you can't take a house off the grid for less than $200,000.
Yeah.
So
He said 250.
$250.
Sure.
Why
Whatever.
not?
Make it 8.
Make it $800. Like, who cares at that point? So, starting with the inverter, which is the brain. This is the thing that runs everything.
It's the heart of your system.
We have on our site right now, it's a Renogy brand, 3500 watt pure sine wave hybrid inverter, which has a solar charge controller, MPPT, that's maximum power point tracking, which is very important, built into one unit. It'll accept the generator charge. It's a tiny little box. It mounts on your wall. It does everything. It's fan cooled. Even the way these things, the way the fan cooling happens, it's all based on this original German design that I've seen in many variations, because they basically open sourced it to the Chinese in the early 2000s, and it just got copied over and over again. So there's good ones and bad ones, but I like this one because Renogy is based out of California, which I hear sucks now, but I've been there, and they're a solid company. So this... sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, it's okay.
Can we take a quick
let's
break?
do it.
Okay. Let's take 1 second to talk about 1 Year of Food, which is our new book that'll help you feed your large family or group for 1 year.
Yeah.
And it gives you all the meal plans, the grocery list, the list of everything you need to store the food, instructions on how to store all that food. You know, it tells you how much you can use every day, every month, and for the whole year, and a garden plan, livestock list, and everything that you need if you want to grow the majority of that food.
Yes.
And it's all of our favorite recipes, and, you know, some easy, some more difficult.
But they're good recipes. We've tried them.
Yeah, mostly from scratch. Even our holiday recipes, Christmas cookies, gingerbread house, it's the list that we use to fill our pantry every single fall.
Yeah.
So you can get it today for $15.99 at Amazon, or if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can take a peek at it for free on Kindle. You probably do want the paper copy because there's a bunch of checklists and forms for you to use. Or you can download it from our store at offgridprepfamily.com and print it yourself. All right, 1 year food. That's what we're all going for.
So we move back into the inverter. So the Renogy 3500 watt hybrid pure sine wave inverter is $947 Canadian.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, $30 American.
I'm assuming, yeah.
So that's step one. You want to build any solar system, you need an inverter.
Yeah. And if you want a slightly bigger one, like they're not a lot more for a bigger one, but we're trying to do basic loads, basic house, nothing like, you don't need to run an air conditioner probably. Yeah.
The funny thing, when I started looking at these hybrid inverters, it was just after I had a business doing installs, and I got into development, and then it was at the time where Magnum, which is a big brand in the States, they were just launching their first MPPT charge controller. It was huge. Right. Massive thing. This big white box. It was almost as big as their heavy, bloody inverter. And apparently there was this thing in those circles of installers where it had been years in development. And it's like... The Chinese and the Germans and the Australians had this figured out years ahead of you. Like,
you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah.
Already. You don't even know it. And for an extra zero.
I find that that's very common in the solar industry. Just like listening to that slick solar salesman on Prepping 2.0. They hate the other people in their industry so deeply that they don't keep up on what's happening in the industry, and it makes them out of date.
Wildly, yeah.
Like they see everyone as competition. It's not a community.
No.
It's cutthroat.
It's very cutthroat.
And so they don't keep up on what's new. They don't keep up on the technology because they don't want to, like they put on the blinders and they don't pay attention to what anyone else is doing.
They really do. So anyway, you're right. That's exactly what it's
Yeah.
like. Moving on from the inverter, the second most important part are the batteries.
Right.
I would argue that the most important part, but the inverter is really, you can't get anything out of the batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So the batteries, there are many options. I don't know if you've tried to use Alibaba to bring batteries in yourself. I've met a guy from Ontario who's doing that. I learned that there are, what I can only assume are intentional Canadian blockades at the Vancouver port. Mm-hmm. You can get the batteries from China. They come across, and then they
sit.
just sit there and probably get sunk.
Yeah.
Like, products aren't coming through
Yeah.
intentionally, but it's on the Canadian end. Mm-hmm. So anyway, if you want on Amazon, now this is .ca, I apologize, we have Amazon.ca. The batteries that I like, the company has stock in Canada or California. It's in North America, which is very important. These are lithium-ion Life PO4, lithium-ion phosphate cells.
Yeah, don't waste your time with the old batteries.
No, and...
We also don't run
lead
anything
acid
on
is not a
steam
thing.
anymore.
No, I also don't have a lead-acid cordless drill
Yeah.
battery. Like,
Yeah. Get with the
get
times.
lost.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me anymore. Cut it out. So we have Life PO4 lithium iron phosphate cells. These are individual cells that come with bus bars. You just wire them up. Like if you're building an off-grid system, you have a bit of an idea of how this stuff works. I'm not going to go into detail now. A 4-pack of 176 amp hour cells. Basically, one of these will build what you would consider a 12-volt battery. Okay, these are 3.2 volt cells wired in series. Costs you $760 Canadian.
Right.
In our case, because I've had a glass of wine, let's make the math simple. Let's call it $800. We're going to build a $3,200 battery pack or a $3,000 battery pack.
Yeah.
More accurately.
3,040.
Thank you, dear. So $3,000 for a 48 volt, 176 amp hour battery pack.
So you want 4 of those 4 packs.
You want 4
just
of those
to be
4
clear.
packs, yeah.
Okay.
And like those numbers, 176 amp hours at 48 volts. It's actually 51 volts. But
Yes.
for that kind of money is just
So now you have a powerful battery bank
yeah.
and a really advanced inverter, and you're at 3988.
Yeah, and it's not only like if you want to compare to car batteries or lead acid, you're only going to get 50% efficiency out of those things.
Mm-hmm.
These things, last I checked, are well into the 90s percentage. My pack that we have is a Life PO4 pack. We got it from a different supplier. We actually got it directly from China before COVID.
Yeah. Ours
And it
look
still
like that,
took
though.
months.
They look like they
They
came
look
from the
exactly
same
like
factory.
that.
Yeah.
So now you're up to $4,000.
Okay.
The next important part is you want to add a BMS.
Right.
That's I think they're $200 for a good one.
Okay.
We have the DALY Smart BMS. It's the only really reliable looking one. Like ours works fine.
Yeah.
It has the Bluetooth app, so you can see what all your cell voltages are at and your total percentage, and it is pretty accurate. That's to monitor yourself.
You gotta have a
which is
BMS.
important. You do. Finally, on the off-grid gear page, you're gonna want there's a combiner box for $170 to.
You need
wire
2
your
of those,
solar
right?
panels. It depends on how many solar panels, but yeah, you probably want 2 of those.
Okay.
That's you're up to $4,500 now. There's some ancillary components like MC4 cables.
Right. How many of those MC4 cables do we need?
How many panels did we say? I don't remember how many panels.
Well, I figured we were getting 4, or we were getting 2 combiner boxes, so we're probably doing a dozen panels.
A dozen panels, yeah. So
Okay.
a dozen panels. We're just doing them. We've done this before. I wasn't totally prepared for this, but
If I have a dozen panels, how many cables do I need?
I guess you need different strings of 3, so 4.
Plus the one.
No, so it works. So get 4 of those 40-foot cables.
Okay.
Like these are cable pairs.
So 4 of the cable pairs, the
Yeah.
Renogy 40-foots that are on our site. And
Yeah.
if your panels are really far away, just get another pair.
Just get more, and they join up end to end.
So now our total's at 4824.
Yep. And now we gotta add solar panels.
Well, let's do the crimping tools first.
Oh yeah,
Right?
okay. Yeah,
You need the
so
tools.
The tools, that's
Well,
$50.
You can do it with needle nose pliers, but it's not
It's not as
worth
clean.
the effort.
Actually, you can't add MC4 connectors. So if
Okay.
you're adding MC4 connectors, you really need these crimping tools, and they're really easy
And
to
do
use.
I need...
Yeah, you should throw those. Those are MC4 removal
Okay.
wrenches. There's these little plastic wrenches.
Which
you
are
use.
also on the site. They're only $14.
Everything's on the site. Everything in our off-grid gear section, you need it all.
So at this point, we're at $48.88.
Yeah.
And all we need now is panels.
All we need now is
And panels are the things that people talk about and worry about the most, but panels are the cheapest
They're
part
the
of this
absolute
whole
cheapest.
operation.
They've been making them forever. The technology is so well set up.
Yeah.
The factories are set up. They're still cranking them out.
They don't have any moving parts.
No. They last for 30 years. It's ridiculous. Like, these
Yeah.
things are cheap.
And
So-
and when they're done, you don't have to dispose of them. You use it as like the roof of your chicken coop or something. Like
So-
it doesn't have to be a thing.
So right now we're at $5,000 Canadian for what
Mm-hmm.
I know is a system that will run a large home
Yeah.
for at least 24 hours.
A
without
fridge, a
any-
freezer, a dishwasher.
Yeah, we got 7 kids turning on lights and flushing toilets and running the pump.
At this size, you probably can't run an air conditioner unless the sun is shining or your generator's on.
Yeah, you can run it
Yeah.
if the sun's shining,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to run this at night because it's
If
just,
you want to do like multiple things at the same time, you maybe need like a 5,000 watt inverter.
that's true. There are more of these hybrid inverters.
There are different sizes,
There
yeah.
are bigger sizes. There are,
And it's not a whole lot more to get a
no,
bigger one.
No, and like you're probably going to spend for a 5,000 watt. No, this is continuous rating.
Mm-hmm.
So the surge on this 3,500 watt inverter is like, I think it's like 6,000. So it's your freezer can kick in without
Right.
shutting it down. There's a 5,000 watt that I found the other day that was, I think, $1,300.
Yeah.
So it's only another $300, but it had like a 10,000 watt surge on
Right.
it. So your air compressor can kick in and your AC can kick in.
Your daughter's running her hair dryer.
Exactly.
Like you don't have to worry about.
There are
so
also hybrid inverters that are designed to be, you can buy multiples and wire them parallel.
Mm.
There's not a lot of them, but they are there, and they're still prime. Like,
And if you want help finding these things specifically, you are more than welcome to email us or contact us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Send us your last few power bills.
Yeah.
We'll help you figure it out.
So moving on from this $5,000 system,
We're going to talk about panels.
yeah, we'll briefly talk about them. So
You can get them on Amazon.
You can. The only
They're
ones-
not a great price.
No, quite possibly the worst price you'll
Yeah.
find anywhere, but still decent. So you can get, what do we have here? 2-pack of Renogy brand 100 watt solar panels is $246.
Yeah. So
So if you add in 6 of those, I'll remember that number. Just type in 246 times 6 times 6. So that's $1,500. And
But
that's a huge
really-
system. That's a
no,
big system.
they're only 100 watt solar panels.
Yeah, but then you've got. Okay, so that's only a 1,200 watt
Yeah.
array. I apologize.
But if you really don't have local sources, they are available on Amazon.
They are
Ideally, you want to get them locally, and they should be
less than a
less
dollar
than
a watt.
$1 per watt.
If you get them used, you're looking at 30 to 40 cents a watt.
Yeah.
And this is Canadian. So once again, our American listeners, I mean, you could practically get these things for free.
Yeah. At Amazon, they're expensive. It's because of the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just find a local source for your panels, and they'll fit in the back of your SUV,
Yep.
and you just take them home and
The good-
build a rack out of 2x4s.
Over the last few years, there's been a huge boon in grid-tied solar sales. But all of these people were swindled. They're all going to see that they don't want to pay this, because what happens is the solar company finances them with the help of a bank. Basically, the solar provider becomes a bit of a utility company. Elon Musk did this in the early days, and then he sold it. But what happens is you now have another payment in addition to your utility bill, which your bargaining will offset your utility bill. So you're just passing the buck.
Yeah.
And we got our solar panels from what the company that I bought them from here, a solar installer, said that it was a repo, and they were like, you could tell they really felt bad about it, but it was a repo.
It's happening.
I guarantee it, because the people were like, I'm not paying for this crap anymore. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to draw so much power with their horribly inefficient homes and their heat pumps and all of these ridiculous power loads.
Hot tubs and just
And
constant
we watched
electric
these
heat.
people go around and install these things on low-pitched roofs
Yeah.
in
They
a
don't
place where it snows 3 feet Like
All
you got-
winter long?
All winter long. So,
Yeah.
of course, you're not getting any sun. Our panels are nearly vertical, and I still, twice a winter, have to get up there with an extension pole and scrape those things.
Yeah.
Because of the humidity. Mm-hmm. So, all of these solar arrays are going to start going south. Just keep your eyes open on the used ads and classifieds.
If you got a dozen 360 watt panels used, or no, new,
Yep.
new price,
Right.
but local, you should pay about $4,300.
So that's full retail, and it's only $4,300.
And how much was the rest of the system?
That'd be $4,800. Well, 40, yeah, sure.
So we're at
It was
$91.20.
like $4,880. So we're under $10,000 for a really amazing system.
High quality, easy
High
to put
quality
together
stuff. It is
because there's
easy.
fewer things.
Fewer components.
It
Yeah.
only goes together one way. It's like an
Lithium.
old.
This is a lithium
Yeah.
battery. It doesn't get any higher
Yeah.
quality in the general battery market.
But like people who are afraid of it, it's like that inverter only plugs into things one way. Mm-hmm. It's like your old desktop
Everything
computer.
comes with instructions.
The cord has
Yeah.
the right end, you plug it in, ka-chunk.
And once you've done it once, you'll have that.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is just like plugging in your old DVD player.
Yeah.
The first time you do it, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's just the same with those RCA cables.
RGB? What? Ah. Let's take 1 second to talk about Jay's Medical.
Yep.
They sell emergency antibiotics in Canada and the USA. You can get life-saving antibiotics and instructions for your emergency medical kit or travel.
Yeah.
And if you use the link on our friends and affiliates page, you get $15 off.
Cool.
Also, Flash Food. $5 off your first order of Flash Food. It is the grocery store waste reduction program that lets you buy discounted groceries or things that they're clearing out.
Yeah, there's some great stuff on there.
There's a coupon code, again, on our friends and affiliates page for $5 off your first order, which is a giant box of veggies.
Yep.
EMP Shield. $15 off any unit if you use the code OGPF. It'll protect your vehicle, generator, solar energy equipment, whatever you need it to protect.
Yeah, we've talked about it. They've got a great track record. And relatively, for the amount of money you're going to spend on it, you're saving a lot more money not having your electronics damaged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Get 15% off your first order of Thrive Life freeze-dried food by using the link in our friends and affiliates page. It's not pre-packaged backpack meals. It's ingredients freeze-dried in cans.
Yep.
And finally, we already talked about Major Mom's Ground Control. $15 off if you use the link on our friends and affiliates page at offgridprepfamily.com.
Nice.
Do you have a quote for us today, dear?
Yeah. For if leisure and security were enjoyed by all alike, the great mass of human beings who are normally stupefied by poverty would become literate and would learn to think for themselves. And when once they had done this, they would sooner or later realize that the privileged minority had no function, and they would sweep it away. In the long run, a hierarchical society was only possible on a basis of poverty and ignorance. That's an intense quote.
That's George Orwell.
Yeah, but that's like our family, and I'm sure a lot of families, everybody's
Yeah.
equal. Like, yeah, we're older and we know more, but one day the kids are going to know more, and whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to have to take care of us.
That only works in a certain way. All right. I hope you guys had a really nice long weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you later.
Bye.